This is the Spartan Body and Mind podcast, and today I have a couple of friends with me who I'm going to let introduce themselves. I met these gem of people in a coaching program I'm in because obviously we're all coaches and we want to coach people because we believe in coaching. And so we're going to talk about that today. Why should you consider coaching? What do these people do with their coaching? What are the results we're trying to get? So we're kind of going to do a little guided conversation here. So let's just start. Let's introduce yourself. Tell us how you became a coach. Kind of what was the journey for you? So Steph, we'll start with you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Seth, for that introduction. And yeah, happy to chat about coaching. So yeah, I'm Steph. Some of you might know me as the Bride Nutritionist. That is where you can find me. And I am a health, wellness, and mindset coach. So my journey was kind of winding, which a lot of my clients are as well. And I became a dietitian about 3 years ago. And I started out as an engineer. And so you might be like, what happened there? And it was really my personal journey. I wasn't satisfied with my health, with my body. And there was so much overwhelming information out there that I was like, this can't be this hard. How are we not taught this in school? How do I not even know what food is like good for my body? And why do I feel so much stress around it? So that started leading me down this road of what started into a hobby and turned into my passion. I went back and got my master's, became a registered dietitian, and now I help other women navigate that cycle so that they don't have to spend years and years in it like I did.
Wow, that is amazing. What a story. The engineer. That's why we got the engineer background. Chicago, that's where you're at, right?
Yes, yeah, I'm in Chicago.
Um,
So quite a switch, but very happy to be on this side of it.
Whenever we're on a Zoom call together, I'm just jelly. I'm just jealous as can be. I'm a city boy. Wish I was in the city. All right, Casey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Casey Young. I have been a life coach since 2009, and my journey started in the corporate environment. I also had a different career. I'm classically trained in fine art, graphic design, marketing. I've run many different businesses and been the general manager of several, big box fitness places, as well as owned a boutique personal training company. So I know all about fitness. I know all about how to get stronger, all the technical things as a certified personal trainer. But as I was training primarily women, I worked at a billion-dollar company. They had a fitness center right on campus, so everyone would work and typically come in around that midday time to burn off all the stress from the work. So I quickly shifted from personal training, which was fun, and then just started talking to my clients and like, how's work going? How's life going? And they shared everything. I might as well have been their therapist. And I really identified at that point, it wasn't about getting abs. It wasn't about, doing kickboxing workouts. It was more about, identifying the things that are foundational that they weren't addressing at all. So I am now given the opportunity to work from home and positively affect more people than I ever could in a personal training situation. So my goal as a life coach, as a weight loss coach, is to really help people make that shift in their lifestyle so that their body shows up the way they want it to. So it's a fun journey to help someone not only lose weight quickly, but also create a sustainable life where you don't have to give up wine or chocolate, and you can have an enjoyable life, but still look in the mirror, feel sexy, and be proud of yourself.
Yes, it's great. We're going to talk about your offer in just a minute, specifically because we're going to dial in. I mean, that's the thing. Like, we want to help everyone, right? I don't want to turn anyone away because I think that's what part of that is becoming a coach. We both had our own journey of health and wellness. We've all been a part of either, Casey, you come kind of out of the more typical, like you've been in health and wellness for a long time. And Steph, you and I, you were an engineer. I was a classical musician, like probably two fields here, like health and wellness. How'd you end up here? Right.
Yeah.
But it's because we had journeys and we saw the importance of this for ourselves. And I think that's the real thing. When you have a transformational journey yourself and go from unfit, and unfit meaning physically, where you notice the physical symptoms of, this is not the way my body was wired to be, right? This is my vehicle. I use that illustration all the time. I say, you were meant to be a sports car and you're a jalopy right now. You're a Pinto. You're a, right. I don't know if Pintos, I don't know if millennials, Gen Z even know what Pintos are, right? But you're just the decrepit, horrible, out of shape, barely surviving car using Arco fuel. Like, why would you do that to yourself? Right? Put in premium,
Exactly.
and once you do, that's the thing. We're not here just to get people 6-pack abs and to get you looking good. We're here because we know that when you are physically fit, everything else thrives, right? Both of you said there's a mindset. It's life coaching. Like, your life becomes better when you prioritize your physical fitness. And that doesn't mean you need 6-pack abs, but you do need health. You need vitality. You need that energy. And so, my story, classical musician, out of that was in ministry for a number of years, being a pastor. And I just want people to thrive, right? And that's where this last year, figuring out alongside a business consulting company, that was because I had such a dramatic journey. I realized as an entrepreneur, I grinded and I did some amazing things, but at the sake of my health, and it caused me to burn out. It caused me to almost die, right? I mean, it's horrible, 100 pounds overweight, dramatic story. And if it wasn't for people telling me, dude, you got to get healthy, like, and waking me up to the picture of, man, my marriage, my kids, they're not getting the best version of me because I'm not even giving myself my best version. And so that's kind of the lie, right? We think, oh, it's not that bad. And it's like, you're the frog in the kettle, and it's just getting hotter and hotter until, do you really need the wake up call that no one wants when now you're right? Debilitated, surgery, whatever that looks like, burnout, and you get fired. So each of us now, although we'd work with everyone, we've had to narrow down our niche, right? Because that's the thing. You want a particular people to go, oh, that's me. And so that's why I brought you on. Like, the Spartan program has really become more focused towards guys. Not that I don't want to work with gals. Gals can become Spartans. They're awesome. But I know for me in the messaging, I want to hit that 35 to 45-year-old guy right between the eyes and say, listen up, you're headed towards a midlife crisis. You're frustrated right now. Your relationships aren't healthy. Your work has no purpose. And if you could get physically healthy, all those other things could begin to change. And we want to help you in that. So with my target audience, I also have a lot of gals who are part of my Spartan Body and Mind Facebook group. So I thought, man, bringing you two on, whose offer is to particularly women. So let's start. Casey, tell us about your ideal client and what your specific program is to help them.
Yeah, so very specifically, my perfect clients, so people I've worked with before, are at a point in their life where, they've probably they've had children. They've established their career, maybe they own their own business, and they're trying to find time to fit in fitness, and they're looking for the bigger, better deal. They're looking for how quick they can see results, and ultimately, they never want to go through that yo-yo process, that cyclical process of going into the holidays, gaining 20 pounds, and then having to power off in these first 2 months to get ready for beach season. So really, I'm looking to help that person, men or women, but specifically women. I tend to work with really well, just because I have kind of this feminine energy, and I definitely, we like to have fun. I mean, it says it right behind me. In everything you do, choose joy. So it shouldn't be as challenging. Yes, I know, the Spartan process very well. And, a lot of the clients that I work with have tried CrossFit, or they've tried something extreme, and maybe they see that short-term result, but they really don't feel it's sustainable. So I try to help that person get those quick results, because we all want to, look good in our bathing suit coming up here soon. I'm in the Northwest as well, but I'm in the woods, so we're still snowboarding. It's single digits actually this weekend. So this is like the prime time for a lot of my local clients. Like, let's get in the gym. Let's do that mindset work right now to get focused, so that you can step into a bathing suit, get on the beach, and feel comfortable and excited to do so. And really, what it takes is just that commitment to be consistently showing up. One of the biggest challenges, especially in this new year, is you get into that, quick fix mindset. And then when you're either not seeing results, or you see those results because you did something dramatic, like a 6-week program, and you're fasting and you feel like crap, and you're trying to take all the vitamins and all of this, it's really not sustainable. So I really try to help people get through the entire year and plan their entire year with purpose and with integrity in that process, so they really feel good about themselves 12 months out of the year.
That's great. Now tell what's your little hook line that you use about chocolates and wines? Yeah,
so obviously I have to attract people, and and it is a marketing it is marketing words, but it is true. You can. So I help women lose fat, because I really don't believe in the theory of weight loss. Like, that's gonna happen, but I really want to help them lose weight. Through losing fat. It's just a process. So focusing on the body fat composition is, in my opinion, most important. So once you start losing the fat, you will immediately start to slim down. You'll be able to fit into clothes that you haven't done. So I help women lose fat without giving up wine or chocolate. I know I would add coffee in there too, which you can do. But I specifically work with each individual. Everyone's got their vice or their comfort food or something. So I do work around that. You don't have to cut everything out for your entire life. Now, I will suggest that you have a glass of wine, not a bottle of wine, and maybe a couple chunks of chocolate, not the whole bar. But you don't have to give those things up. It's all, and we'll get into the specifics in my program, which is calories. We're just focusing on how much you're eating, when you're eating, how consistent that is, and really finding that homeostasis and balance through your life.
Yep. That's great. And I think that's the thing, like, yes, right. No one wants to give up their vices, and not even their vices, just like you say, in everything you do, choose joy. Well, finding joy and choosing joy is probably in some of the right. If I can't have chocolate, like, what's the point of life? Right. And so, and that's the truth. Anyone who's telling you have to give up all these things, like, that's not true. And it's not healthy, because there's more to life than just 6-pack abs. Right. Unless you're an IFBB pro and that's your life. And then on the off season, you're going to eat tons of chocolate.
Been there, and it's not the route to go down. It's not the route to go.
And so you have to have, I don't like the word balance, because balance, when I think of the word balance, I think of like the person stretched across the tether line on some skyscraper in New York, like freaking out. But there's this healthy tension to look at life and go, hey, sometimes, right, you have a work project, you got to give yourself more to work. Sometimes you get away on vacation, and then you let loose, right? And so your life has these tensions where the rubber band moves to different parts because you're intentionally moving it there. And so that's where, right, I think a good one way to find a good, healthy coach that's going to give you the results that are sustainable for a transformed life is to listen to that. Like, do they seem out of balance? Do they seem so, like, the Spartan program sounds intense, but it's more about helping you figure out, what does intensity look like? Like, how do you have, because, that's the thing too. I train like a bodybuilder, but I also have to be careful in that, because I'm getting old and my bones, right, my joints and stuff, if I go in and want to squat 4 plates aside every time I do legs, I'm toast, right? Yeah. That's not me anymore. So there has to be wisdom. So, but I love that. So going after that, 30 to 40-year-old gal who kind of is in that second chapter of life, putting her life together, but realizes, man, especially when you have kids and you have distractions, right? Your life has all these poles and priorities. And it's like, but what about me? How do I become healthy? And I think that's where we kind of have the same audience there, where you're with gals, I'm with guys. Like, how do you, a lot of those people have a problem prioritizing themselves because they feel guilty. Right. And they go, I want to get in shape, but I feel like my kids come first, or my husband comes first, or my spouse comes first. And it's like, wait a minute, you can only pour out what you pour in. Right. And the sooner you realize, if you pour into yourself and create a healthy physical, that's going to create a healthy mindset, a healthy emotional base, you're going to be able to pour out that much better into the people that you love, into the things that you love. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to touch on that piece of it, part of my mindset program is to really put yourself first and not feel bad about it. Because if you put yourself last, and I am a people pleaser, I'm definitely the Mr. Nice Guy. I will bend over backwards to help someone else, and then just, let my goals and dreams fall apart. So, I'd say my mid-20s, I kind of went through a lot of that, changed myself, and realizing, putting myself first is not it's not selfish. It is actually self-care, and the only way that I can help more people see that in themselves is to be that role model. So it is important, and part of my program to touch on that mindset, find out where they are, because certainly there are people that are, and we talk about balance. It's kind of like, where are you on that spectrum? Are you fully selfish, like it's all about you, and you are that, bodybuilder, and you're completely, isolating yourself away from other priorities that maybe you should pay attention to, like your kids, your family, etc. So pulling and then maybe other people that are full other spectrum, giving themselves away for free, not putting themselves as a priority, not doing self-care, but truly finding where that happy, like I said, homeostasis is my word, finding that happy place, that comfort zone. Like certainly we're going to go out of your comfort zone to make those results, but ultimately being more centered, and being able to sustain that, for long periods of time through self-care and trusting yourself in self-confidence.
Yeah, it's great. Stephanie, what about you?
Yeah, and to piggyback on that a little bit, just in might be working with women, but I assume ladies or gentlemen also have kind of this all or nothing mindset. Being that bodybuilder, like not giving a crap about our body at all. And we don't have to live in either of those realms. We can find that middle area. So I definitely resonate with that. But yeah, I would love to share some specifics about my approach and my program. I put simply, I help brides get wedding dress ready. And to expand on that, it is more about just their wedding day. That's going to be our first goal. But I also want to make sure that they have a healthy and happy future family. So I come into these women's lives at a very intimate time. But I also draw the line in the sand and say, look, you can go on a crash diet, pray to whatever God you believe in that this works for you, and just buckle down. Or you can do it the right way and make sure that this weight stays off. So when it comes to clients who I work with versus clients who I don't work with, I must make sure that this is something that you want to do for your long-term health, because I do not condone crash diets. Because I'm sure you guys have probably tried them. I've tried all of them in the book. They don't work. So I'm not letting any of my clients go down that path. So that's kind of where I draw the line in the sand of, this is not a quick fix. This is your long-term health. And I do take that very seriously. So when it comes to working with my clients, they're at all different stages. Some are marathon runners and athletes. Some have never stepped foot in the gym before, or I help them establish a home workout. Some really like certain types of foods, vegans, vegetarians. Some are just exploring what meals work best for them. And when it comes to mindset, we'll dive into that a little bit. But I walk my clients through 3 pillars: meals, movement, and mindset. Because I believe all 3 of these are not only needed to see progress, but they're needed to keep the weight off and make sure that you're living that healthy, I know we're not using the word balanced, life. so that we're not in this all or nothing mindset forever. You shouldn't be on a diet for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So why do we think it's the right step for when we're getting ready for the most important day of our life?
Mm.
And so that's who I work with. That's my approach. I'm curious to see what you guys think of that.
I love it. And I think, especially in I was working, I have a friend of mine who's getting married this next year, and we were looking at a program. And so it made me have to think about building one out for her. And one of the big things I thought about is just the pressure, right? Because when you're moving, maybe I'm trying to think about who, maybe others would feel this, like if you're going on vacation and you're going, man, we spent all this money for this trip to Mexico, and I want to look good, and I don't want to be in a baggy t-shirt over my swimsuit. But nothing is bigger than the wedding day for a bride, right? The pressure and that dress and that money and that stage. And how many gals, and this is what I was thinking about the program for her and building it. I was like, man, you almost need a program just for the week of to keep you in a mindset, because the temptation for her to want to, right, do just throw everything out and to starve herself. And think about this. How are you going to feel on your wedding day, totally starved out of your mind? Like, you're going to ruin the day.
You're going to have a headache. You're going to be cranky. You're going to be thinking about food. And then the pizza comes around and you're going to lose control.
Right? So how to sabotage your wedding day, do stupid stuff, right? And this is why you need, and this is where, again, for coaching, like, it's not just, we're all, we're talking about health and wellness coach, but this is having a coach for for aspects of life. I mean, we are a part of a coaching program where we're trying to build our businesses. And how much mindset stuff have we come up against? How much fear of failure and frustration, and having others, and not just a coach, but having a community of people. That's why, the Spartan program, this is what I'm doing now, is so community focused. I know that there's great benefit in one-on-one coaching. I do a ton of one-on-one business coaching, and the Spartan program still has one-on-one coaching. But it's that community to know that I'm not alone. Like, there are other people going through same things, and we have the same temptations, the same desires, the same frustrations. And there's something powerful in that, to go, oh, okay, I'm not some unique snowflake that just the world's bad for me and it's a win for everyone else, right? And so, I think I just love that. How do we help people, especially when they have, like, your life should have these moments of just, wow, right? Like, when you think about, I read an article a year or so ago talking about memory, and how when we get older, we seem to like feel like time gets faster. And they said the reason time gets faster, his theory is adults do the same things over and over. So you have less snapshots of life. You have less, like, moments of memory. Like, have you ever driven in your car and you just arrive there and you're like, that's sneaky? It's because your brain knows, like, it doesn't need to be on, like, where are we going? What's going on? It doesn't need to be on hypersensitivity because it's driven the route. And so it's that idea is, as you get older, you need to still have memories. You still need that. You need that Mexico trip. You need that celebration, but you also want to be in peak performance to celebrate it. Right. And so how do you get there? So anyway, I think, roundabout, but I love there's so much clarity there. I love your 3 pillars too: meals, movement, and mindset. Like, and what we know too, that I'm sure you all are going to resonate with this, but I'm going to say this particularly to the audience listening to it. You're coming to us because you want wine and chocolate and you want to lose weight. You're coming to us because your wedding's coming up and you're starting to freak out. You're coming to us because midlife crisis is happening and you're like, is this all there is? And I look in the mirror and I'm totally frustrated that I'm not, like, that I've let this go. You're coming to us because you want to look better. But the reality is, I'm going to spend 90% of my time getting between your ears and trying to get you to think better things, first about yourself, and second, about what does this life look like? Like, yes, I want you to be healthy, because a healthy person lives a much better life than an unhealthy one. And we live in a world right now, at least in the United States, that's radically unhealthy. and you want to know why people are depressed, you want to know why mental health is just skyrocketing with issues, look at the obesity epidemic. It's a correlation, absolutely. And so we want you to be healthy, but we also want you to get healthy between your ears, because I don't know about you, but I'll just speak for myself. I now am in the best shape of my life. I'm 44 years old and I've never looked this good physically. I still have body dysmorphia. I still go to the gym. Like right now, I'm so fluffy. It's summer's almost here, although it's snowing out right now. Right. And so just because you get into shape doesn't mean your mindset's going to change, right? And so this is why having a program and a coach, this is what you're not going to get when you walk into 24-hour fitness.
Right.
You're not going to get this when you go to your box gym and you hire a personal trainer. In fact, what you're going to get there is someone's going to show you the equipment and hopefully give you a plan. But they don't care how you eat. They're not following up with you. They're not holding you accountable. You're just paying them for an hour of time. Like what we do is so radically different. And I think that's the issue is people are like, oh, well, why isn't it like $100? Because I'm not giving you $100 of results. Right. And maybe that's what we want to chat about real quick is what really are the results? What are you seeing in your current clients? And what is your program designed to do for the people that come through your program? When they come in versus when they leave, what does that look like for you guys?
Right. So I'll pick up the ball there, which is you touched on several different things that I kind of weave into my holistic program. So Stephanie, I can see that you definitely have those specific pillars because there is a very strict timeline for your clients. And some of mine do have those timelines, but for the most part, I do pick up those people that have worked with a personal trainer. Maybe they've worked with a nutritionist and given them meal plans, or they've kind of looked for that new fad diet that deals with macros first and essential oil drops, and I'm just like, nope. You're trying to fix 100% of the problem with a 1% solution. Like those are nice, and they feel nice and they're exciting. But being a personal trainer, again, I realized that I can help you move your body. I can help you like get the endorphin rush that helped me. I made 6 figures as a personal trainer because those people were finding value in being in my presence and going through that process and feeling good and like they worked and they feel accomplished. But then when they go home, they do indulge on those chocolate, the wine. They are stressed out at work. They are stressed out at home. Maybe they have relationship problems with communication with their husband. They feel like they're disconnected from the kids because they have all these other things going on. So the results that I truly focus on is not just giving you a good workout plan, and so all the things I'm going to list here, you do get customized for you in my program. I will help you get that personal training through me, whether you are a member at a gym and you live in Timbuktu, that's fine. Or if you don't and hate the gym, I'm going to give you home workouts that you can do with body weight or things you have around the house, or get simple weights and that sort of thing. But the results that you're ultimately going to get, like you said, is between your ears and really even a little bit lower into the heart. Like what inspires you? Why are you doing this? What does wake you up in the morning? I'm sure waking up and going to work is probably not the thing that's making you do that. You're going there to make money so that you can do all the other things. But as life goes on, like you said, we get a little bit older. We forget to take the vacations. We forget to enjoy the moments. So that is truly what I had, in the holistic program, is trying to help the person not only physically get fit and get what I feel, that body dysmorphia. They feel like they're fat. They feel like they're out of shape. Not even if they have health problems, but they just feel sad about it. So one of the most significant results I help my clients, my women specifically, is find happiness. Everyone's always I just want to be happy. So we really dive deep into what happiness is, What is your why? Like, why do you wake up in the morning? What are the most important things in your life? Who are the most important people in your life? Am I communicating with those people, properly? So this may sound a little outside of the physical fitness and nutrition world, but it's the foundation that makes your body show up differently. If you feel happy, if you are happy, you're going to have a little bit less worry on how other people are perceiving you. But because you're happy, you're going to go get those endorphins. You're going to get fit. You're going to be able to commit to a consistent program that helps you lose weight and make you, mentally tough as well. And the last piece, I'll mention that on my Instagram. I just reshared something from Jordan Peterson, and he's obviously been around people who have done specific studies on memory and memory loss specifically. And he specifically said, doing Sudoku and crosswords and reading and keeping your mind sharp is good, but that's actually not the thing that's going to help you maintain your cognitive ability going into late life. It's physical activity. It's and then I just find that with that physical activity, if you hate going to the gym, you're like, well, screw it. I'm just gonna give it all up. So you're really letting go of yourself for no reason. So getting into the gym is not the most important thing, but getting right in your mindset is, and having all those motivational, external factors that are driving you, but also internally, like, what is your why? Why am I waking up in the morning? And that's what I ultimately help you do right away. And then we do the fun stuff, which is getting fit and looking sexy.
Yeah. So good. That's, it's one of the things I shifted in the plan in the Spartan program about 6 months ago, is I make them all start with a vision statement for their life and
Absolutely.
go, what does that person look like? Because it is a fitness program, but what does that person feel like? What does it feel like to get out of bed? What does it feel like at the end of the day? What does that person think like? What do they think about themselves when they look in the mirror? What happens if you get healthy and then you can't go to the gym? Do you still feel positive about yourself? Do you still, right? Because life happens. And why are you doing this? Are you doing this so, people will look at you and go, ooh, or are you because I bet your spouse probably doesn't care. Like, they care more about you being around and healthy than they care about you looking sexy. Now we all want to feel good about ourselves, and I care. That was the thing I had to do. I was like, man, when I was 100 pounds overweight, it was like, why can't I do this? Well, it was because I felt the pressure, because I was a stage person. Like, oh, well, you're on the stage. How can you let yourself go? And it was like, it's just not motivating to do it for someone else in that way. Instead, I wanted to do it for someone else because I wanted a healthy marriage. I wanted healthy kids. I wanted to be able to play with my kids and not like get all winded after 5 minutes, wrestling around with them. So you've got to find that deep why, right? I did a podcast earlier this week on embodying your goals. How do you embody them? Head, heart, and hands. Like you said, it's got to start in the head. Like, what's my plan here? But like, how do I embody that in my heart? Because if I don't care about it, if the why doesn't matter, I'm not going to stick with it. Totally. Right? Like, Stephanie, like, your wedding's going to be over. And then what are you going to do? Well, that's why you're trying to help them have a holistic approach. This is good motivation to motivate you to actually start working on this, but you have a whole life to live. And so we've got to get you healthy between the ears so that you understand what a healthy lifestyle is. So yeah, talk to us about your program and your results.
Let's chat about some of these results, because I think when we talk about outcomes, it really comes from what barriers you're overcoming. And at the very beginning, what I see a lot of brides, hundreds of brides that I've worked with, their biggest barrier at the beginning is this fear, the fear that they can't reach their goals. And it eats them away at night, eats them away when they look in the mirror and they're unhappy. And this really comes from years of like diet culture and crash dieting that's made us believe this. And that we've been trained for so long that dieting has to be this miserable process where you can only eat salads and you have to work out for like hours. That's not true. That's just not the reality of it. Because that only lasts for a couple of weekends, and then you go on a bender on the next weekend and you're in this cycle over and over and over again. And it's scary. It is scary to be in that cycle. You feel stuck, trapped, scared in this state of fear. So the big, massive mind shift, again, between the ears, what we're talking about, comes when you shift away from living in this state of fear that you can't reach your goals, and you stop trying to hate yourself skinny. Because that doesn't work.
Right.
You can't do that. So when we stop trying to hate ourselves skinny and we focus on meals, movement, and mindset to make sure that, we're dropping the inches that we want for the wedding, but we're also going to be really super freaking confident afterwards. And for me, when I see wedding pictures or someone sends me a picture of them trying on their wedding dress, like I am brought to tears like that. Because I see the person who they were 3, 6, 9 months ago when they were scared shitless. And now they're so confident. They're so radiating. A client of mine she got married last June, and she sent me a picture that she's pregnant. And she's so excited to start her family. And she goes, Steph, I even know, like, after I have my baby, I know exactly what I need to do for my body. And I'm excited that I'm not fearful around food anymore, because now I know that my daughter and or son won't have to live in that fear either. I want to lead by example. And so, yeah, we're going to get the weight off if that's one of your goals. We're going to drop that fat. We're going to make you feel toned and confident for that wedding day. But that big transformation comes with your mindset and how you're showing up for your life and that confidence that you have in getting out of living in this fearful state. That's what I think is pretty cool. That's the transformation that really drives me to do this over and over and over again. And I think it's really important. And I know what it feels like to live in that state of fear. And I've also been on the flip side where I can be confident. And it is kind of scary to work through some of that, but it's so worth it in the end. Yeah. So that's my results that get me fired up in the morning. They get me out of bed. Yeah.
Yeah. And Stephanie, to piggyback on that and to actually ask you more specifics, you mentioned you have worked with hundreds of brides in the past. And to your point, Seth, it's like, why would you work with us specifically as coaches? I'll let Stephanie kind of expand on who she's worked with, but that's what you're getting differently from the three of us, is experience. I'm actually celebrating my 45th birthday next week. So I feel good. The beard makes me look older, I think, but the results that we've gotten for our clients, and I've literally worked with thousands of people going through a multitude of different avenues, and that's truly why I became a life coach. And yes, I'm specifically helping women, lose fat, because that is a passionate area of my coaching business that those people need it. And when they do have results, the things that I am driven to, is that they just feel better. They feel better emotionally, spiritually. They have better marriages. They're able to play with their kids more. They want to play with kids more, and they make time for themselves. And they're able to finally say no to all those other things that are distracting from that. But back to the experience, between all of us, I've got decades of experience helping people lose weight and get fit. And then also, since 2009, I made that shift to become a life coach and truly talk to people about everything, because finances become an issue, their career becomes an issue. And those are the things that will get you fat. I worked in the corporate environment at a desk for 6 years. So I kind of gave up, putting life coaching as my front earner just to make the money. But I quickly found out, like, I was a shell of a man. Yes, I was, a little bit heavier. I was definitely holding on to weight, and that was a direct result of stress. So back to that experience, like, we've all been to those places where our clients have been. I haven't been 100 pounds overweight, but I've worked with hundreds of people who are, and helped them go through that process of either, was kind of a Biggest Loser challenge and they saw success, and then like, okay, cool, that's not sustainable. Let's get you on a program that you can consistently start making weight, a more homeostasis. They can maintain that for their lifetime. and really find, freedom within their body. So Stephanie, tell us about, your experience working with brides specifically, and what they can look forward to.
Yeah, and when it comes to brides, it really is something that I know Seth mentioned this earlier, like a wedding being kind of this ticking time bomb of tension and like an impending dateline or a deadline right there. We got to make it to that point. And that can be a very stressful process. Mm-hmm. But I also want to say that you're not alone in that process. Mm. I've been through it. Every single one of my clients have been through it. We've all made it past that finish line. So when it comes to working with brides and working with my clients, it is a community of women in this like-minded space. We're done crash dieting. We're ready to focus on our health. And we all are working towards this one major milestone, knowing that that's just the beginning of our healthy life, of our healthy future family, of you being a wife, of you being a future mama, if that's your goal. But that's just the beginning of that milestone marker. There's so much more afterwards. And we all get excited about that in my community, in my client portal. They have access to each other as a team chat. And yeah, we talk more about meals, movement, and mindset. We talk about some wedding drama and wedding stress as well, but you're not going through it alone. Mm. And it's true. Like Seth, with you, with people hitting that midlife crisis, I'm coming up on 30, so I might need some help on that. None of us are going through this alone. Mm. But you also don't have to rely on Google to be your compass.
Totally.
There's experts who have spent years figuring out this process. Mm-hmm. And the worst thing what I hate to hear is, I'm not sure this will work for me. Mm. Well, have you tried that yet? Mm-hmm. Have you tried investing in yourself and doing something that actually makes a larger difference than just what the scale says in the morning when it blinks in your face?
Right.
Most people haven't taken that step, which goes back to fear. But it no matter if it's Seth, if it's me, if it's Casey, like we all have these years of experience in this community, and we are here to make sure that it does work for you. Mm-hmm. And not by giving you some PDF and saying, bye, hope it works, let me know how it goes next month. Mm. To make sure that you're also understanding why it works, so that you can navigate any situation after you're done working with all of us.
Mm. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, as you can tell, I get a little passionate about it.
Well, and I think that's the thing, right? You should, the people listening to this should want to work with someone. The reason you hire a coach is you want to work with someone who is as passionate for your results as you are. In fact, they're probably more passionate because they know what your life could be like. You don't know yet. You hope, but that's part of the problem, right? Is people have a tendency to do a couple things. They throw cheap resources at cheap things that won't give them the results. There's nothing wrong with going to Planet Fitness. It's $10 a month. But $10 a month is not going to get you, right, a transformed life. You've got to do a lot of work. There's nothing wrong with a personal trainer. They're going to give you insights. They're going to give you, right, hopefully, a workout that works. Although I've seen a number of personal trainers at gyms I get really nervous about going, I don't think I could be helping anyone. But that's why you have to that's why I wanted us to be able to kind of talk about who we are and what we're experiencing, what we have experienced, right? And why we're passionate about this. I want to be, I feel my clients need me to be more passionate than they are at the beginning, because they're in a place where, that's why I'm coming to them. They're depressed, not passionate. Right. They're frustrated, not encouraged. And so find a coach that that they can bring you under them, right? That you can get a part of their weight, like a boat, and really move forward, because that's where, again, we're not here just to help you lose some fat. We're here to transform your life. That's what's different about at least the people on this phone call. Can't speak for every personal coach and everyone's program, but I know you two, and I know what we've been trying to create in the cultures that our programs that we work with. And as we want to see these results that impact all of life. And I think our programs speak to that. That's why they're not also cheap programs, is because you get someone who is invested in you and that has a program that will actually see the results that you want if you give it. That's the only thing, though. And I think we all have that as a part of kind of our call when we're vetting possible clients, is you do have to be dedicated. Like, you might not have the discipline yet. I'm going to help you build that, but you have to want this transformation. And that's why, I start with, really, you got to cast a vision that's going to compel you. You can't just be, I want to look good. Why do you want to look good? Like, what's motivating you, so that when you hit the grind, right? I just did a podcast this week about the 6 week. It's 6 weeks from New Year's. And are you even on your resolution yet? Have you, where have you bailed? And it's because you didn't really have a big why. You know that you need to get fit, but why should you? How does it impact the daily life? And some people they don't know what's even possible. They think that their dead end job and their hamster wheel of life, like, well, this is what marriage is now, or this is what, and it's like, no, man, life should be joy, right? And I think a part of that is you have to be able to think joy. And you can't think joy when your body is so out of shape that you're not sleeping well, right? That's a big component for our program, is recovery. Like, if you're not sleeping well, I can't diet and train you out of 4 hours of sleep a night. Sure. Like, you're gonna work against all the work that we're gonna do. So we gotta get you sleeping. We got to get you recovering well. So there's all these things. So anyway, yeah, I think that, again, it's that mindset component that you're going to row with someone who has worked with a number of people that know kind of the things that you're going to face. And so we're already ahead of the curve going, how can we, I'm ready for this, for the clients to go, hey, this is what, yep, right. You're right on track. Here we go.
And Seth, I definitely wanted to bring that up because there are obstacles, both real and perceived obstacles, for people who want the results that we're talking about, but they haven't prioritized themselves first, and therefore, or they don't see the value in the process. And obviously, it's very difficult for us, even on an hour call, to really share the details and specifics of what we're going to take our clients through. But to ask kind of a question, I know I went to college, and that bill was 5 digits, fortunately. It's definitely, you said you got your master's. I'm sure you're well into 6 figures investing in yourself in that career, I'm assuming.
Easy.
I personally spent probably upwards of $50,000 on myself to be a better coach for my clients. So we're not, I don't work with everyone. I do want to affect everyone as positively as I can. So that naturally happens if you're around me. I am a coach, both athletically. I help young athletes learn how to do gymnastics, and I throw girls in the air and teach them how to do stunting for cheerleading and stuff. So if you will, I give that at a cheaper price because I believe in the next generation. I want to help people like that. But my specific clients are people who have invested in themselves in their career before. They've invested themselves in where they live. They've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars or $1 million on their home. They're probably driving a Mercedes or a BMW, and they've spent that money. So when it comes down to, we start talking health, wellness, a great marriage, great connection with your kids, looking and feeling great in your body, and they want a $75 quick fix, is ridiculous to me. So for all those potential clients out there that are stuck, you've tried all these different things. We're not the cheapest, but we're the best. And I don't say that with an ego. It's just, we do have the experience. I know when, just like a doctor, if they come into that room, they've seen this before. They know exactly what to do. They know either what prescription to give you or what operation you need. There's no true question when you're working specifically with someone who knows what to do to get you those results that you're asking for. We don't blink an eye. We're like, I know exactly what you need to do, and you just get to trust us, and you get to do it. You get to trust the process, and you get to commit to yourself and know that your investment is going to, my personal goal is to always be 10x. So for an example, if you're paying $5,000 for something, I want you to get $50,000 worth of perceivable value. If I'm working with you as a career coach and you want to, you want to get a raise or, start your own business or whatever, I want you to have an actual physical change of 10x to that. So I'm always leaning toward people investing in themselves in not a consumable product like we do as Americans all the time, and we don't even think about it. But when it comes down to doing something for yourself, for the benefit of yourself and for everyone around you, it's time to really look in the mirror and say, what's important to me? So on that, Stephanie, I can't think of anything more important. And we talked about this before. You're working toward your wedding. It's either in 6 months or 9 months, or maybe if you're engaged for a year. But that's a relatively short timeline to get the pictures and videographer to capture that moment that is going to last your entire life. So it doesn't necessarily need to be vanity, because like you said, you do have that second level of programming to take people into that next phase of life and all the way through life to be successful. But they're always going to look back at their wedding picture and be like, oh, I wish I was a little bit more fit, or they're going to have that vanity about them. So again, you can speak to that.
Yeah, real quickly, we can chat about this because I think it applies to all of us. Whether it be your wedding and you're paying for a videographer, a venue, flowers, or whether it be you're turning 30 or 40 and you're like buying yourself a new car, or you're a mom and you have a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, those costs don't really ever go away. We think they do. It's like, oh, once my wedding's done, like I'll have money to like invest in myself. Or once I turn 40 and I get my car, and 6 months after I have my car, I'll be able to invest in myself. After my kids grow up, once I get them started in school, then I'll be able to invest in myself. There's always something that comes next, guys. And when are you going to bite the bullet and go, this is the time that I'm going to invest in me because I'm worth it? Because this is something that's not only going to benefit the way I look and feel, but my overall health, my family's health, my future family's relationship with food or health or wellness. So I get this like tension all the time, especially being in the bridal space. I got married a year and a half ago. I know how much a wedding costs. I know how much a new car costs. I haven't bought one recently, but friends have. These costs don't go away. Life gets more complicated as we go down the line. But investing in yourself right now is never a waste of time.
Right.
And usually people say, I wish I would have done this sooner. So
yeah, that's
totally agree.
That's probably the biggest regret I hear from people is, and even from myself, like even starting this coaching business, I'm like, gosh, if I was set up, say for instance, before COVID, I hate to muddy the water here, but I've been a coach, into the early 2000s. If I had really jumped on Zoom and really been able to affect people before and during COVID, I personally feel that I would have positively affected more people in a mental capacity, because talk about high stress and people really finding those vices, alcohol and binge eating. I mean, so many people that I know personally gained weight. They got lazy, they got fat. Even now, as we're showing here, I don't know what the percentage is now, but a very large percentage of the population works either full-time or part-time remotely. So they're not even getting out of bed sometimes, to do their work. So now really is a very important time, both to be a coach, to reach as many people as possible that need our help. But also if you're on the other side of this, and you find yourself, slipping deeper into that feeling of, well, I've gained the weight, I'm really in a bad mental space, and they don't truly believe that they can come out of it. Because I have worked with people in deep depression and even, suicidal tendencies. And it's the most important thing you can do in life is to get a coach to help you through that, whether it's, again, a superficial 5 pounds that you want to lose, because that's there's more going on than just, the pounds. Or if you've gained 100 pounds and you're really in a bad place, a dark place, we are here to help you. Some obviously this is me speaking, because I do help people in all areas. But regardless of who you choose, you should have a coach. You should have an accountability buddy. And even back to the Spartan process, if you don't have that community, you feel like you're alone, even if it's a one-on-one with Seth, or a one-on-one with me, trying to get you to take those steps. The community and knowing that we've helped other people and that you can have those other resources. And we obviously have the stories that, you remind me exactly of, this person who went through this process, and now they're doing everything you're asking me to do. So we're fully dedicated, and I've personally set a personal commitment many, many years ago, over 15 years ago, to positively affect as many people as possible. That is my purpose in life. So if you do work with me, I will not allow you to quit on yourself, because we're fully committed to getting across that finish line.
It's awesome. Yeah, I think that's the key is we want to see people thrive, and it's less about, at the end of the day too, it's really less about weight, even fat. Like that's a component to it, but we want you to thrive, and that means physically, mentally, emotionally. And so what can we do? How can we use the skills that we've honed over the years and the programs we've built to do that? And so the reality is we'd work with anyone, but people who preach to everyone don't probably speak to anyone. So we all have harnessed, right, our megaphone in a social media world to go, hey, here's who I'm going to go after specifically. But if you're listening to this and you're someone who you go, man, I like Stephanie's personality. I'm not a bride. I'm not even getting married, but I have some weight to lose. Call Stephanie, see what she says.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll work with you, or maybe she'll, I don't know, throw you out the window in Chicago.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone who my program is called I Do Healthy, and this is for the brides, the bridesmaids, the ladies who are just ready to say I do to their health. So I have brides, I have non-brides, all in my community. As long as you are committed to those goals and committed to that long-term health, then I'm here for you, and I'm never going to turn you down for that. And I would be happy, to chat more about that and what that looks like for you, bride or non-bride. I know we'll probably get to this later, but if you want to chat about wedding goals or want to chat about my I Do Healthy approach and how it might look for you, send me a message. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, bride.nutritionist. Happy to chat. You can go to bridenutritionist.com for some more information, but send me a message on TikTok or Instagram. That's going to be the easiest way to get a hold of me, and you'll get a response and we can chat. Is this a good step for you right now? What's not working for you? How can we get you seeing progress? I'd be more than happy to chat about it.
Perfect. And that's really, that's really the intention of this is, if you are feeling any of these ways, if you are resonating with anything that we're talking about, to connect with us, and I'll leave my contact information with this video. But it's really finding a way for you to get where you want to go. And for a lot of people, they haven't even given the time of that answer. And Stephanie, you brought up a good point, is a lot of my clients aren't brides, but they are attending weddings, and they know they've been sent the invitation, and they want to look maybe not upscale on the bride, but they want to look as good and be able to take pictures next to the bride and feel like I'm hot, I'm feeling good about myself. And then, bringing their kids on the dance floor and then be able to, enjoy that space. So yes, I do work with women specifically in this regards, to help them really just feel better about themselves and be able to be in those social events and be comfortable. Because I know it just can be a really difficult space that if I mean, Stephanie, you can probably talk to this as well. If you aren't the bride and you receive a invitation to go to a wedding, I think, my wife would probably put this through the process as well. If they think that they can look good and feel good, they'll say, yes, we'll be there. If they feel self-conscious, if they feel like, oh no, my arms are going to look horrible in the dress I have planned, or I don't want to spend, the money on a dress, they will miss the wedding. They will fail to show up both personally and emotionally for that bride, because they're focusing on how they're going to feel and how they will show up in those pictures. So not only the brides, but everyone that's attending that could possibly be seen on that video at that wedding.
Yeah, and absolutely 100%. This goes for all of us, whether it's your wedding, whether it's your 40th or 50th birthday, whether you had kids and you're trying to get the weight off. Like, you don't want to miss life events because you're worried, because you're fearful, because you're not in the right headspace or the right body for you. And I've heard this of, oh, I'm missing date night, or I don't feel like going out with the girls, or I don't want a 50th birthday party. I'm sure, Seth, you've heard this, because I don't want people, like, they'll say they don't want to make it about them, but it's because this internal fear and insecurity. We don't, life's too short, guys. We need to show up how we want, and we have the tools to get you there. Yeah.
And the reality is, it's not just I think we think about it when we think about big moments, right? That wedding, that anniversary, that whatever. But the reality is, what are you missing out on the day to day, right? I do a lot. I talk a lot about, like, I want to give you confidence. And again, there's a reality of, I can't remember the word one of you just used previously. There's, that vanity, right? Sure, there's a vanity, but it's confidence too. And I think that's the difference. Like, vanity can fail you, because vanity is really about what I perceive others to perceive about me. Confidence is what you feel about you. Right. And I want to give you confidence every time you walk into a boardroom, every time you walk into your bedroom, every time you walk into any place in life, every day of your life. You should feel good about yourself and what you're going to contribute there. And that has to do with how you think about yourself. And how you think about yourself is reflected in how you feel and how you look. And so those things should be taken seriously and advantage of. So yeah, let's wrap up, because I know Stephanie's got to get to another event. So you mentioned, Stephanie, so when they find you on the old TikToks, because I'm sure the 80-year-olds are going to totally hound you on the TikTok now. Is it Stephanie Heflin? Is it Bride Nutritionist?
It's bride.nutritionist. Don't forget the dot. I know it gets lost sometimes, but bride.nutritionist. I'm on Instagram or TikTok, or bridenutritionist.com. If that's easier for you, it'll take you over there. But don't hesitate to send me a message. As you've heard by now, I'm just a human like you. I'm working towards goals just like you. Happy to chat, about what's not working and how we can get you seeing some progress.
Cool. Casey, where can they find you?
Yeah, so primarily I am on everything but TikTok, but you can find me on Instagram at Limitless Coach. So you'll see my logo here. That's what you'll see. Limitless Coach on Instagram. I am Life Coach Casey on Facebook, and I'm happy to receive emails directly. It's how I set up a lot of my Zoom calls, and just getting to know you, and that is limitlesscoachcasey@gmail.com. So yeah, contact me any way you like. I try to, obviously, on all those programs, give you some value, but really the value you're going to see is when we start talking. Every person I work with it's specifically tailored to you, knowing that, like that doctor, I know exactly what I need you to do. But I really want to get to know, what is driving you, what are your visions, and how can I help you get there as quickly as possible. And like Seth said, if it's not a match for several different reasons, I have a resource of other coaches. Or if it's just nutrition you're looking for, I'm going to happily send you to Stephanie. If you're looking for more of a holistic approach, you guys can refer to me.
Cool. Always, we want to help. So if you're listening to this podcast, we want to help you. Again, you can go to the free Spartan Body and Mind group on Facebook. Hang out there and meet some other people rowing. If you're interested in the Spartan program, which again is specifically to help men as they approach their midlife, don't make that a crisis. Turn that into a transformation, turn that catapult into the second chapter of life. And so we want to help you become Spartan fit, again, body and mind. And so I love that we spent so much time just talking about the mindset, because that's really why you need a coach. It's one thing, you can go on YouTube, you can go and find nutrition and workouts. You will have a harder time getting between your own ears, right? You need we all need therapy, right? But that's what it is. You're allowing someone to walk with you in your health, which is also figuring, because there's a lot of mindset stuff that goes in with health, shame that you have to work through. And for me specifically too, with Spartan, it's less about you. Yes, there are people overweight. We live in a world, or at least the US, that's massively overweight. So it's easy to say, let's lose some fat. Here's the thing too. I've met some guys recently that are like, I'm like scrawny and I just feel so like inadequate. I don't feel like a man. It's like, well, let's help you feel better. And that doesn't mean that doesn't mean we have to get you squatting 300 pounds. It means we have to just get out of whatever in your head that's telling you have to be something that you're not, right? And so I think that's part of all of us are trying to row in those waters. So anyway, if you're interested in the Spartan program, go to thespartanprogram.com. I'll put all of our information in the show notes below, and so that you can click on that, search around, and see what we're all up to. We'd love it for you to share this with your friends, share this with people you think that it would inspire and encourage, and maybe get them to act. We want you to do something right now. Act on something, whether that's you sit down and go, man, how am I doing? Do a little self-assessment and ask yourself, what do I need to change in my life to be a healthier version of myself tomorrow? And if any of us can help you in that, we would love. We have obviously our social media. We have resources that are free. If you need a program to get you there to actually do the significant work, all three of us would love to have a chat with you and see how we can help in that. So until then, Stephanie, Casey, thanks for joining me today.
Excellent.
Thank you so much, Seth.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
All right, take care, everyone.